Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day and that everyone's getting prepped for Thanksgiving. I know this has been a crazy time in the world, but I hope everybody is planning on having a good Thanksgiving and getting food and all that yummy stuff together. Anyway, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Julie Brown. I am a Stampin' Up! Independence demonstrator. I've been doing this a little over 5 years. I kind of got started as attending a class with another demonstrator, and she decided to retire, and so I signed up underneath her, and soon she was gone, and I was kind of left on my own. So, but I've had a lot of mentors in the Stampin' Up! Business, so I'm really thankful for all of them for reaching out and helping me to learn how to do things like this, where I can do these Facebook Lives. So if you are new to my Facebook Live, please make sure that you leave a comment and let me know that you are here. Hey, Mel. It's always nice to know that I've got people listening. So also, if you have a question, type it in the comments. So I have a few things to go over before we get started on the card. And the first thing is, I'm going to put this up because I had the wrong, for those of you placing orders this month, I had transposed these numbers, which Mel knows because she texted me today and said, hey, that's not working. So the correct number for the hostess code for this month, if you're going to place an order that's under 150, or if it's over 150 and you are part of the monthly group, you still need to use that hostess code. And it is N4Y4S37S. So hopefully that helps. And then you just go to juliebrown.stampinup.net to place your orders. That shows you my email right there. Please make sure you visit my Pinterest and Facebook pages. Make sure you like them. Most importantly, please go to my blog. It really helps me when I have a lot more people visit my blog. It helps the way that all of these social media sites work is the more people that go to these blog and like things or follow you, the more you show up in the social media world. So please go to my blog at stampinjuliebrown.blogspot.com and make comments and let me know how you like the cards on there. For those of you that are, again, new to this site, that is the site where I post all of the cards that I do with step-by-step instructions. And if there is a video that I've done, the video link is also in there. So let's talk about what's going on with Stampin' Up! Today. Right now, they have the Merry and Bright online extravaganza. Now, it was just going to be until tonight at midnight, but apparently this morning they had quite a few glitches in their system. As you all know, they've got a new online store. So there were some glitches, and so because of that, they're going to extend this sale until tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. So if you were wanting to get stuff and you haven't gotten it yet, and so basically what this sale is it is the annual catalog. There's almost everything in the annual catalog is at 10% off, and that includes bundles. So bundles are already 10% off. So now if you order a bundle, it's going to be 20% off because it's another 10% off of bundles. So I'm going to real quickly put up the excluded items. So that, these are the items that are excluded from that. And so if you, I know it might be kind of hard for you guys to see that, but it is these are the excluded items. If you can't read this, I do have this on my, it's the Julie Brown, Julie's Independent Stampin' Demonstrator. It's my other Facebook page where you can ask to join, and I put a lot of announcements on that. So if you go to that, that list is there. So there are a few things that you cannot buy in the annual catalog during this sale, but most of it is on sale. So yay, right? So again, it was supposed to end tonight at 11:59 p.m., but because of the glitches, it will be going on until tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. our time. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to be working on. And because of this sale, I wanted to show a bundle that is in the annual catalog, and it's the Nothing's Better Than bundle. This was a bundle that actually caught my eye right away, but I just haven't been able to play with it. But look how fun this is. It has, now I don't drink coffee or cocktails, but it's still a fun set because I definitely eat cookies and chocolate. Everyone who knows me knows that chocolate is my jam, right? So, but it has all of this fun. It's got the cocktails, the cookies, the coffee, which this could be hot chocolate for those of you that don't drink coffee. And obviously this is the chocolate here. And then it has all these really fun sayings in it. So we're going to make a card with this tonight, but it's a bundle. So it does come with these dies. Now I went ahead and cut out the words so that you guys could see the words. So the words that it cuts out is chocolate, cocktails, cookies, love you more than, and these are all separate words because you could use love chocolate, love cookies, love coffee. But this is everything that it cuts out. So it's a really fun set, and we're going to be using shapes tonight to do a really fun card. So let's get started with our card. Let me move this out of the way. So what do you need for the card? We're going to use a thick, very vanilla, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Whoopsies. And then you're going to need, this is from the Subtles Designer Series paper. And this is a 4 by 4 1/4. And basically that comes in a little 6 by 6 pack, and it's all the Subtles colors. So all of the colors that are in our Subtles. And it has some different patterns. It has that pattern. And then on the back of this one is, I believe, the polka dots. And then the other pattern is, it has the wood grain on one side and then the written words on the other side. And so it's those are the same patterns throughout all the different colors, if that makes sense. And then you're going to need a piece of Misty Moonlight. You're going to need one that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then you're also going to need one that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I've already basically, so that was this piece, and then you cut it at a diagonal. Okay. So this one was the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I had a whole piece and I cut it in half. So that you'll need that, and then you'll need a Whisper White that is 4 by 5 1/4. This is a bigger scrap than you need, but you're going to need a scrap that's about 2 1/2 by, I'm going to say probably 4 would do. I just grabbed this piece because it was longer. And then you're going to need an Early Espresso that is 4 by 5 1/4. Now this piece, I'm going to show you something really quick with this piece, because I am putting on the back of this, remember these, the adhesive sheets, because I'm going to be cutting out the words. It's really, these adhesive sheets really come in handy when you're cutting out the words. All right, so, and I already put 2 of the pieces on, but I kind of wanted to show you how this works. So it's actually in pieces. It has, so like this was one piece, this was another piece. So when you take this off, the sticky is on this piece here. It doesn't stay on this. And then you're just going to take this and you're just going to lay that down on the back. And I cut this down. As you saw, it comes in really long sheets. And I'll go ahead and show you the back so you can see what I'm talking about. So on the back of these, I don't know if you can see that, but see how they're in strips. So there's a strip here, and a strip here. And what I do is I cut it down to the size of the cardstock that I'm putting it on. And then I peel off the pieces and put them on the back. So just so you know how to use these, And I probably didn't need a piece that big as well, but that's what I had available of the early espresso. I know I could probably have done everything in this one little section, but it's okay because I'll just keep this on the back of this, and then the next time I need a piece with the early espresso, I've already got my adhesive strips on it. All right, so let's get started with this card. So we're going to bring in our card base. And this part gets a little bit tricky. Oh, sorry. First, I need to show you this. So this piece, like I told you before, this was the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I cut it at a diagonal. And I'm actually going to show you how to do that because this piece, again, we need it to be, I think the 4 and, I thought I had it. Hold on. So we need it to be 4 1/4 in length, and then it needs to be 2 inches tall. And the way that I do this is I'm going to bring in a pencil. Let me get this so you guys can see it a little bit better. I'll move this down. Okay. So I go and I measure this at the 2 inch. See the 2 inches over here? So I'm measuring this on the 2 inch spot. And I'm going to mark that right there with a pencil. Then I'm going to take this because I need this to be a diagonal. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put my point down here, but then I need to make sure that the pencil mark that I drew is right there. So let me make this go out a little bit more so that you can see what so here's my pencil mark, and then I need it to cut the diagonal here. So I'm going to make sure that my pencil mark is lined up with this little gully here as well as there. And then I just shut this and I just cut it. And then I get this other piece that I need for the front of my card. I hope that made sense. All right. So then this is the tricky part. So I'm going to be putting a ribbon on this. If I can find the ribbon that I cut, it was sitting right here. Okay. And I am using, this is that very vanilla that comes in the Forever Greenery trim combo. And it's kind of like a mesh, but it's a very vanilla. It's not a white. So here's the trick. I need this to actually go around both of these pieces. And that's hard to do when you're gluing down. So I have this little trick that I use. And so what I do is, let me bring in my pick a tool here. I'm switching this to the paper piecing in. So I'm going to grab me a glue dot. And I'm going to stick this right up in this corner here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap, oh, let me go out a little bit. There we go. Then I'm going to wrap this around the edge, and I want to make sure it's catching this top edge of this piece of paper. So I'm going to wrap that, and this is where it gets a little confusing. Then before I glue anything, I am going to set this piece down here, and I'm going to grab this piece because this is eventually what's going to happen. This piece is going to go right here, and I'm going to kind of lay this down, and I'm going to bring it across. And this is kind of funny because these two pieces are going to be connected, and it makes it a little challenging to get everything down, but it's just a way to make sure that you can get your ribbon on ahead of, behind these pieces before gluing them down. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark both sides there. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this over and run a strip of glue. And then I'm going to be real careful here so that I don't lay this down, because I'm going to now I'm going to like pick this up, lay this here, lay that there, because I haven't glued this yet. but I need to see like how tight to pull this over here so that when it's laying down, it will lay down smooth. And then I'm just going to go ahead and connect that. So now we have these two pieces that are connected. And then we're just going to lay these on the front of this card. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and use the Stampin' Seal, except on the very tips. And you probably could have just used the Tombow glue. But on these little tips, I want to make sure these tips get down good. So I'm going to flip this way. Like I said, it's kind of fun working with these two pieces that are connected. And then I'm going to lay these down. This is just kind of one of those hacks that we use when we're trying to get ribbon down on two separate pieces that you need to glue down. So, hey, Patty. Okay, so I've already put this one down. Now I'm going to bring this one in. Now this one I'm going to put Tombow glue on just so that it gives me some wiggle room. And I'm actually going to put it right there on the ribbon. That way I can make sure my ribbon stays down. But this one I need to be able to kind of finagle it a little bit. So for this card, like I said, I wanted to show you how you could use shapes, and tonight we're using triangles, or kind of like triangles. They're not exact triangles. So then see how when we lay that down, our ribbon goes exactly where I need it to go. So that's the kind of the hack for if you're using two pieces like I did, that I wanted the ribbon around this end and this end, and I wanted it to be straight. So that was how I did that. All right. So then I'm going to come in with my stamp set, and I'm going to set this to the side for just a second. And I'm going to be bringing in this, and again, my piece is bigger than I actually need. And this is another two-step stamping set, which means that you're going to stamp one image, and then it has the inside image to stamp as well. So we're going to do the cookies first. And again, this is one of the bundles, I believe, that is on sale right now with that 24-hour sale. So I'm going to start with the Early Espresso. I always start with the darker color, and I always start with the detailed stamp, okay? Oh, good, Patty. I'm glad that you have, yeah, that I can give you an idea. This is just a really kind of simple idea that I'm using tonight. So I'm going to stamp it, and I'm going to need 2 cookies. And I think that should be okay, because I'm going to be cutting these out with the dies. So again, I came in with the, I'm using the detailed stamp first. And I used Early Espresso ink. And then I'm going to come in with Crumb Cake. Now, and I just want to give you fair warning, these do not fit exactly. It doesn't feel like the whole thing. So it's not going to fill up this whole thing. The first time I stamped on these, I thought, God, I'm just not stamping this right. And it took me a while to figure that out. So let me go in a little closer so you guys can see how this works. This is the only time I will ever tell anybody to rock a stamp, is when you're doing 2-step stamping. I just find it easier to do it that way. And so what I do is I will line it up, and then I kind of catch the bottom, and then I roll it down into place. Okay, but see how it leaves a little bit of a space? It's actually supposed to do that, okay? So it's not a solid, it's not supposed to fill every single spot there, just so you know. So again, I'll show you that technique one more time. So I bring it in, and I lay the bottom down, because that makes it so you can move this back and forth if you need to. So I'm going to lay this down, and it helps me adjust as I'm going down. And then it helps you to get a really good stamped image every single time. All right. So there's that one. Then we're going to bring in the chocolates. And for the chocolates, we are going to be, again, it has a detailed one. And this is the detailed stamp. And we're going to be doing that one in Early Espresso. And then we're going to use Soft Suede because I just kind of felt like that was a closer color to real chocolate. So let me move this up so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here's my Early Espresso. And I only need one of these. So I'm going to stamp it with the Early Espresso. Whoops. Then I am going to come in with the solid stamp. And I'm going to use Soft Suede this time. So let me bring in the Soft Suede. And I know you guys probably can't see the stamp pads off the screen because I've got it close up. Okay, so again, I'm going to use that same technique, and I'm going to line it up with my bottom edges. And then as I lay it down slowly, it allows me to get it positioned exactly where I need it. So that's why I do that rolling motion when I'm stamping the two-step stamping. And especially on the ones where it's an exact, like the inside covers it exactly, it works really well with that one. I just had a card class where we did that, and I taught them that technique, and all of them stamped really well, even some of my brand new stampers. All right. So I've got these. Now I'm going to bring in, let me move some stuff, and let me make this go back out, other way. There. I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine, and we're going to use these dies. So it has the die that cuts out the cookie, cuts out the chocolate, cuts out this cocktail. So, and this one, you know, this one has, this is the inside for this. And then it all, just so you know, and then this does the umbrella. But it has the die will cut out this, the cookie, the chocolates, and the coffee cup, and then the words. So, yay! It's a fun set. And like I said, I was trying to do a card that we could work with shapes, so that's what we're working with tonight. Oh boy. All right, so let me bring in my die cutting machine. Alrighty. So we're going to set this down. Here, let's set it this way. And we're just going to set that on the cookie. I really do. It's unfortunate that this magnetic plate wasn't working for people because it's actually such a good magnetic plate. I haven't had to use any washi tape. And you guys, those of you that have watched my videos, you saw my hack for making this stay down tight. I've actually taped it to, I ordered an extra base and taped that down to it. And like I said, I hope they do come back out with the magnetic plate because it works. Besides the fact that it was curling up on everybody, it works really good on the magnetic side of it. As you can see, I'm not having to use any washi tape. The only thing I will tell you is that when you're laying your plate, anytime you're using any kind of magnetic plate, I always lay my plate at an angle and I put it up there and then I push it down so that it holds this in place. Because if you come in, like if you put your plate in this way, you have a tendency to then hit the die and actually move the die. So again, that's just how I tend to use my cuts. Okay, so there's the two cookies and the chocolate. So like I said, you didn't quite need this big piece that I had. So you could probably use a 2.5 by, I'm going to say 3.5 for that piece. All right. So now I'm going to bring in this piece that I already put that adhesive strips on the back. Again, because I'm doing words. And I'm going to use, so just so you know, this is what the words look like cut out. I've actually glued those down so that I can easily see, because these are kind of hard to read to figure out what they're saying. So I'm going to need the cookies one. And I guess we'll go this way. And I need the chocolate one. So I'm going to run these through. And again, reminder, I've put the adhesive strip on the back because that just makes it so much easier than having to do any of our glue. So I'm just going to kind of leave this here, but you'll see it cuts out really good. The other thing I really liked about this was that, honestly, guys, I have not, since using this magnetic plate, I have not had to run anything through twice. I've just, so far, all of the dies that I have, I've run it through once and it cuts. So hopefully they will, oops, this is my little, I gotta keep this because it's my little dot for my eye. It kind of came out. So I'm gonna set this over to the side where I know where it is, so I can bring that in when I need it. But like I was saying, I've only had to run things through once every single time. So hopefully they'll get that magnetic plate fixed and it will work really good. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp a little sentiment up here. And one of the sentiments on this is today's plan, and then it says consume. So I'm going to grab that stamp. They've got a lot of really cute sayings on this stamp set. So if you haven't looked at it, you definitely need to look at it. This is such a fun one. And think about this. If you have the, like the jar stamp, you could put cookies in the jar. You could put the candies in a jar, and make a stamp set with the little jar stamps. I'm trying to think of some of the other, even the wheelbarrow, you could put a ton of cookies coming out of the wheelbarrow. I mean, there's just so many things that you can do to make these cookies and chocolate, you know, really cute. And of course, the coffee and the cocktails, again, really cute ideas. But I'm just doing this one tonight. So let me try to get this straight, and hopefully I can stamp straight tonight. Again, if I wasn't doing this on the video, I would probably be using my stamp apparatus, especially when I'm stamping, hey, Shanine, especially when I'm stamping on the front of a card. A good time to use your stamp apparatus to make sure that you get it straight. I lucked out and mine stamped straight, so yay. That's always exciting, right, ladies? Isn't it funny what makes us happy when we're stampers? Stamping something straight is always a big plus. All right. Again, and remember, this is one of the bundles that from now until tomorrow at 11:59 p.m., so the bundles were already 10% off if you bought them as a bundle, but because we're having that Merry and Bright sale, it's another 10% off. So you're getting like 20% off of the bundles. But again, not all of them are included. So just so you know. Okay, let's get back to this. So I'm going to put this here, but before I do anything else, this has this little itty bitty, I don't know if you guys can see that star stamp. And so I am going to put that in there. So so anyone who's thinking about that there's bundles that you've been wanting, This is the time between now and tomorrow night at 11:59 would be the time to purchase them, because again, they are an extra 10% off because of the sale that Stampin' Up is doing. It was just going to be till tonight at 11:59 p.m., but they had some glitches in their system, and so that changed. Okay, I'm just bringing that in so you can see what I'm doing, because this is a little, so I'm little itty bitty stamp. I'm using soft suede ink, and I'm just going to go right along that edge. And I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to get them exactly the same amount of space apart. I'm just trying to stamp right along that edge. Hopefully I'm not getting my head in the screen. So I made homemade noodles with my youngest grandkids today. Many, many years ago, my grandmother taught me how to make her homemade noodles. She's from Ohio, where it's very humid. And so we had to roll them out by hand with a rolling pin, and then wait for them to dry, which in Ohio pretty much took all day and sometimes into the night. And so then you would roll them out, and then once they were somewhat dry where they wouldn't stick together, then you would roll it up kind of like in a jelly roll type thing. And then from there, you would have to take a knife and cut it in really like paper. We'd roll it out till it was paper thin. And then we would use a knife and cut it until it was really thin as well, because again, they have a lot of humidity. And so it's really important that you cut it thin. Well, a couple years ago, my daughter Tori got an attachment for her KitchenAid that actually you can run your noodle mixture through, and it flattens it out, and it also cuts it. It is amazing. But it's a tradition in our family for the grandmothers to teach their grandchildren how to make noodles. And so this year it was Callie and Emmett's turn to make noodles with Grandma. So they got to learn today. Okay, so I did that just right up that strip right there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these cookies, and I am going to, I mean, this is a full one. This should be working. This is like a brand new liquid glue. And I'm going to just kind of put it under the ribbon just a bit right there. And then this next cookie, I'm going to use these mini dimensionals, and you guys will see me do something I tell you never to do, and that's put a dimensional on a ribbon. But this ribbon is so thin that it really doesn't upset the level, making this level. So, you know, most of our ribbons have a little bit more texture to them as far as the thickness. But this one is like paper thin ribbon. So then I want to cover this where this comes together right here. So I'm going to put this here where it kind of overlaps this cookie. And then I'm going to come in with my little candies, and I'm going to use liquid glue. And we're going to glue this in place right here next to the cookies. And I'm actually going to kind of push it down because this is kind of a mesh ribbon. That liquid glue is actually going to push through and actually adhere to this piece here, which makes it really nice. Oh, Mel, that's a great idea. The cookies could be Pac-Man eating the stars. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? You're right. It absolutely could be. How fun. So you could make this into you could use these cookies and make them into a whole video game. That would be so much fun. Yeah, do the little stars like going down and around and having the little cookies following the stars. Great idea, Mel. You need to make that card and then post it on our site so we can all see how fun that's going to be. Okay, so now I'm going to take these words off. And I'm just going to pull that off of there. Now, sometimes it cuts it really good all the way through, but I don't really worry too much about that because I really don't need this backing right here because I'm going to be pulling that backing off anyway. So what I'm going to do is just kind of poke out all of these little pieces that I don't, well, maybe. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to pull off. I think if I pull off the back, so then what you do is you just pull off this back piece, and because it's in strips, there might be a couple of pieces. So you just pull that off. Okay. And so then I'm going to just take this, and then I don't always push this down like really hard right at the beginning because I want to make sure it's on here straight. So I just kind of barely touch it, and then I can kind of still like pick it up and move it if it didn't get placed exactly where I wanted it. Okay, so then there's the word cookies. All right, and so Patty, you were thinking about that as well, huh? Cute idea. Oh, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get my little the little dot for on top of the eye for the cookies. This one's going to be a little bit harder to pull that backing off. This is one that you kind of hope stays in the... It would have been easier if I could have just pulled it out of there. Ah! So let me... I'm trying to hold it with my nail, but that's not working very good. Let me see if I can just get that to come off. Oh, almost. All right. Yay. But now it's probably stuck to my nail. Okay, so there's the eye. For the cookies. And then I'm going to pull off the word chocolate. And as you can see, I just went ahead and pulled it off of the sticky part. So the back of this is sticky, but I need to get these little pieces out of here. And then this one, I'm just going to sit right down here. And again, I don't push it down real hard until I have it where I want it. And then I come back and I push everything down. Alrighty, and then I'm going to bring in the 2020, 2022 in color enamel dots. And I'm going to stick these. I'm going to put my guard on here so I don't poke myself. And I'm going to put one right here. Needs a little bit more of that putty to come out. And one right there. These ones are probably the hardest ones to get up. They're stuck really good to this little plastic sheet, and they don't like to come up. But this putty usually works pretty... Whoop, there we go. Got it moving. Sorry, that putty's a little dry. Let me twist it and give it a second to grow at the end. When you twist it, I don't know if you guys can see that, the putty starts growing out of the end. So we're going to put those little dots right there. And then let's look at the inside of the card. So for the inside of the card, I actually want to I've lost some of my pieces here. Sorry. Here we go. Oh, I need a very vanilla piece. I had just a Whisper White piece. So, sorry. Let me quickly grab that and cut that. So, for those of you that have never, if you're always wondering how to cut your inside pieces, I'll show you really quick. You can get 4 out of 1 sheet of Very Vanilla. And what I do is I cut it at 5 1/4, so I put it at the 5 1/4. And then I turn it and I cut it at 4 and at 4. And that gives me 2 for the insides, because that's usually the size I use for the inside. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Do it at 5 1/4. And then turn it and cut 4. I had a Whisper White piece, and I told you Whisper White, but we're using Very Vanilla, so you needed a Very Vanilla piece at 4 and 5 1/4. So there. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so we are going to stamp on this, and what I decided to do for this, for the inside of this, is, so on the front of the cookie, it's going to say, today's plan, consume cookies, chocolate. And then on the inside, I'm going to use this one, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. So I think all of us are kind of feeling that way with COVID going on, that, you know, we're kind of just sitting at home, and our plan for the day is to eat cookies and, hopefully that'll work, cookies and chocolate. And then I look at tomorrow, and I'm going to do it all over again tomorrow. So that's kind of, this is kind of a really fun set. Because it has a lot of really fun little sayings on here. So I'm going to put this on here, because that is my plan for tomorrow as well. Okay. And then let me clean that off real quick. All right, and then I'm going to come in with my chocolate. Again, for those of you that know me, you know chocolate is my jam. I love chocolate. So we're just going to bring in the early espresso and put this chocolate down here in this corner. And then we're going to bring in the solid one, and you guys will get to see my little technique for this. Now, I will say on this that, you know, it's got these little tiny pieces. So this is definitely one of those stamp sets that, especially if I'm, you know, using it in a class or something, or you're using it with friends, you always want to count your pieces before you leave, because it would be really easy to lose some of those tiny pieces. Okay, so here we go with that technique. I line up the bottom, and then I roll it down. Okay, and that gives you a really good stamped image on, and this is for the 2-step stamping, because those of you that come to my class, you know that I'm always talking to you about making sure that when you stamp, you go straight down and then straight back up. But when you're 2-step stamping, it's good to do that little roll into it, because you get a better image. All right, and then I'm going to take this. Now, because you're using thick cardstock, you really could have just stamped this on here. But I just, for some reason, I'm just not a fan of that. I like to have some type of matting in it. I don't know why. You don't need to. This is just my preference. Maybe if I was decorating with, you know, some borders and stuff, I would, which I have done. And then I like it a lot better. But if I'm just doing something like in the corner down here, like I've done on this one, I tend to like to matte this inside piece, even though you absolutely do not have to when you're using the thick Whisper White. There's just no need to do that. All right, and then this is going to fit. And again, always make sure where the front of your card looks, because you don't want to put this on the wrong side. I'm sure we've all done that before. But see, I just like the way that looks a little bit better. All right, so there's our card. Today's plan: consume cookies and chocolate. And I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. And then we've got some more chocolate. All right, so I just wanted to do a real quick, you know, show you kind of this set, because I just think it's a really fun set. And especially with the sale going on right now. It's you know, the bundles and stuff in the annual catalog. Like I said, some of them are not, they are excluded. Again, if you go to my other Facebook page, which most of you are in that group, you know, and how fun. And then, like I said, I don't drink cocktails, but I do go to the beach, and I could use this as a beach, you know, because you know how if you've ever gone on a beach, or if you've ever gone on a cruise, I've been on a cruise, they always feed you drinks, even whether it's Coke or non-alcoholic beverages. They always come in cups like this. And then for me, I would use the word hot and then the word chocolate to do the hot chocolate. But you have coffee, cocktails, and then you have all of these fun little things. And it just says, you know, you make everything better, you know, and be awesome. And it's just like, is like, just kidding, I have no idea. So I think that would be like, a day without chocolate is like, just kidding, I have no idea, because that's me. A day without chocolate, I would not even know what that day is like. Right? And it's like, you are just like coffee and cookies, you know. You know, today is a coffee and cookie day, a coffee and cocktail day, you know, whatever you want to put. It's got a lot of great things. Oh, so Shanine, you make Mormon mimosas. Yeah, so see, that would be really cute with that one. So like I said, it's a really fun set. It was one of the first ones that I picked that I wanted, and I just haven't done anything with it. But because the annual catalog sale is going on, I just wanted to show you a really fun, cute card that you could make with this set. So does anyone have any questions? So I'm going to put up let me put all this back in here so you can see basically here, and here. All right. And then I'm going to really quickly put up, so that's the number for the bundle. It's 154061 if you want this bundle. And again, I would purchase it between now and 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, because the sale is going on now. And then I did also use the Subtle Designer Series paper, and it comes, I showed you guys that earlier. It comes in that 6x6 packet, and it's all of the colors that are in the Subtles, which, you know, so it's like the Pear Pizzazz, Highland Heather, Balmy Blue. It's all the subtle colors. All of our Designer Series paper, you can buy them also. If you have like all the bright stamp pads, you can buy the Designer Series paper that are the brights. So I just wanted to show you that. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight. And let me just put this up one more time. Those are the excluded items. And for those of you that are watching this live, you can't pause it. But if you want to go back later and look at this, you can definitely go back and look at it later. But I did post this on my group page. This is my business page that I do all my lives on. So I do have a, I think it's Julie Brown's independent Stampin' demonstrator site. But it is on there. So those are the excluded items that, those are the only things in the annual catalog that are not 10% off, but everything else is 10% off until 11:59 tomorrow evening. And if you need to order, you can go to juliebrown.stampinup.net. That is the hostess code for this month. And again, guys, I appreciate everybody being on tonight, and I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I know this 2020 year has just been so hard and so difficult with all of the changes and the things that we're having to go through, but you know, I'm really thankful for all of you and for your support and for coming on with me live and making this so much more fun than me talking to myself. I really enjoy being with you guys, even if it is just online. And I appreciate you all. And I appreciate all of the business that you guys give me and supporting me in doing a job that I absolutely love to do. It's so funny because if you had asked me 6 years ago if I thought I was creative, I would have said no. I don't think that I'm creative. But through Stampin' Up, I have found this creative side of myself that I love. And I'm just thankful to have a job that I love what I do and that I get to share it with all of you and have so much fun when we do get together to do this. So everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody's safe and everybody's doing well. And I will be talking to you guys next Tuesday. So everybody, bye.